I want you all to pick up where we left off. We talked about a serious topic, and we were talking about how the food industry is really based on profit, and you were listening in on that segment, Bar, and we're going to talk just as friends, because I think that's what people have to do out there that's watching this. It's not about even expertise, it's about research, and about caring about what you put in your body. Don't you think that's so important?
Yes, I do, and that's what I did on my own. I just started doing the research myself, finding out what I'm eating, what's in what I'm eating, what should I avoid, what should I be careful of, and most important, what can I do to eat healthier. Absolutely,
and we want to leave people with a few tips of things they can do before this show is over. But let's jump in, because these are some of the, there's more, but these are at least 6 enemies that we want to let people know about. And let's jump right in. So the first thing we're going to talk about, as you can see on the screen here, this is MSG, standing for monosodium
glutamate.
Glutamate, that's right. So, but most of us know it as MSG, and sometimes people have heard about this being a challenge. Sometimes it's known a lot in Asian foods, especially. But what's some of the research you've seen about MSG?
So what I found out about MSG is that, so the glutamate is something that exists in our food already, but when you mix it with sodium, it becomes an additive that the purpose of it is enhance the flavor of our food and pretty much create, there are 4 flavors that we know, which is salty, sweet, sour, and bitter. And this glutamate, it's sort of creating a 5th flavor that we can't really know or describe but what it is. It just makes our food taste better, and it's addictive in a way. We get addicted to this flavor.
And this, again, when we talk about the business element, and we're going to be talking about this a lot tonight, but if I can put something in that messes with your biology and causes you to like this taste so much that it becomes addictive, I mean, what better built-in business strategy, because mostly people have to do marketing and all that, but these folks do marketing and put stuff that actually biologically impacts you.
Right, and like you, I owned a business before, and we automatically think, what our customers need that we can give them. So if I can create, if I can make my customer need and be addictive to what I can provide, it's a win-win situation for me.
Right, that's what you call repeat business. So this is again, we want all of you out there to be aware of MSG. You've heard this before, but we want to put this on the list as one of the ones that you need to focus on and really be aware of what's being done. Now let's go to another one. So this is just a general category. We just have to say this is just processed foods in general. And when we think about processed, the key word in there is process. And having an operations background, knowing a lot about building processes, you have to ask the question, what is the process for? It's definitely not a process to make us more healthy. So we're really talking about a process of how to make food in a way that keeps costs low and also keeps people coming back. And that has actually been made into a process. So what's some of the research that you've researched in your time about processed food?
What I found out is that processed food is the real food that we actually need, that companies are taking, adding all kinds of additives and preservatives to it. In addition to that, they're making it looks good, tastes good, and last long on the shelf.
Right, shelf life, yeah.
And that's how they're making most of their money.
And again, if you can make something last longer, you can ship it longer distances, you can have it in more locations, people can buy it and know that it'll keep, and they can eat on it for however long. So there's a lot of things with that when we talk about processed. Let's put that picture back up about processed foods. There's so much out there that's been processed. So basically when you start seeing things in cans and bags and boxes that have large, long nutritional facts with words you can't explain, you're normally dealing with something that's processed.
Right, and you're asking yourself, what did they put in there that makes it last months on the shelf? When if you take the corn out of the corn chips and think how long a corn will last, it's maybe a few days or a week. When you process it and you're incorporating in it the right ingredients, you can make it last years.
Right. So a good, it's kind of weird, but a good measurement of something being good for you is that it can get old.
Right.
And that it can age, and that it gets stale, it goes bad, in a short period of time. That means it was alive. So this is something we definitely want to keep in mind. Now let's go to another one. So Barb, this is another one, and I think this picture is very telling with a scientist, putting something into the fruit here. Genetically modified, GMO. This is a big area, and it's almost so big, it's hard to even manage. It's impacting all of us, even if we don't realize it. What's some of the things you've discovered about genetically modified foods?
From the research I've done myself, it's something that has been happening for a while now, but we don't actually know the end results or how it really affects our body. We just know that there is a genetic modified food that we are eating. I actually found out that 90% of that industry is in America, and about 88% and 53% of that is in North America, in the USA.
Wow.
It's been done in seeds mainly to make the fruits look better, because we eat with our eyes, so if the fruit is shiny and nice and plump, we're gonna.
That is I don't mean to cut you off, but that's a powerful statement. We eat with our eyes. I mean, that is so true. And I think because those that are behind the scenes, they're aware of that. They're doing everything they can to make things look better to the eye. And so when you look at the genetically modified, are you saying that these modifications try to enhance the things that the eye would be drawn to?
Right. When you go to the supermarket, you're looking for the most beautiful apples that you see, and you choose those because they're the most beautiful. But there are ways around it. You can choose local produce. You can check the labels of the things you buy. You can choose organic produce. So there's a lot of things that you can do to make sure you're choosing the right product.
Right. Now, how do you see just, with specific to genetically modified things, and again, some of it is about the look, and then some of it is about the life, like how long they want something to last, or things that they want to modify for whatever reason that has some benefit to the business. But speaking of that, how do you see that this relates to the whole profit before people? How is this helping businesses with profit by genetically modifying?
Well, when your product looks good, when people want to buy it, then you're gonna have more sales. There was a thought in this process of genetic modified where the companies that produce those seeds sold the idea that it's easier to grow them, but they later on found that it's not true. It's easy to grow an organic produce the same as modified produce. So it's again a matter of bigger corporations and the ideas that they're putting in our minds, in the people that grow different things.
Yeah, all the farmers and things of that sort. And the last thing I'll say about this, you said something earlier that I think is really important. You were talking about how, it's basically they're willing to do this without having all the research done of the impact on our body. So they can meet some threshold. I've even, if you just even do your research, you'll find out, there's an acceptable level of things that they allow to be in food, and I don't want to gross people out, but I mean, when they work in these factories, there's actually an acceptable level of things you would not want in your food that they allow. So it's almost as if these things can be approved without them knowing all the impacts on our health.
Right. Many times it comes down to the person that was in that position, or even the politician that you have good relationships with.
That's right, yes.
Different things that causes people to make decisions for the whole food industry without considering what's better for our health and in a way by compromising our
Right,
health.
absolutely, absolutely. And I really enjoy this discussion. I hope all of you out there are listening, and these are things we all can do, we can all research. Let's keep going here. Now, here's another area, and this is food dyes. Now, when I was younger, them gummy worms up there was a problem. I was walking through the inner city, even through some bad neighborhoods, to go get them gummy worms. But now looking back and remembering these colors, and I just want y'all to look at these colors for a minute. I mean, it does something to your brain. There's a happy feeling you get. It seems exciting. It seems, it just seems like it's something that you have to have. And so this is all by design. It has nothing to do with real food, but all about attraction. So what are some of the research you've seen or done about the food dyes?
Well, first of all, we all know that colors affect the way we feel and the way we think. Different companies design their logos in different colors to make us be more drawn to it. When it comes to food, food is something we always need, we always consume, we always look for. And those companies found that artificial colors are the cheapest one, right? They can make their profit bigger, and they also can make the food look very, very good.
Right.
When it comes to candy, through kids, they're making us purchasing more candy because, the kids, they're making us buy more.
Right. I was one of those.
But when you look deeper into it, you're finding out that those artificial food coloring, a lot of them are made of coal tar. Which is extremely toxic, and we should not even consume it. The industry gave some of those artificial colors great names like brilliant black or sunset yellow. It just sounds terrific, but they're extremely dangerous. These are the colors, tartazine, tar again, is the color you can find in Doritos, in Fanta, in anything that is yellow, and it's directly connected to cancer. So it's extremely dangerous.
Yeah, and you just took me back so many years when you said Doritos. Doritos was a special thing for me. I could eat a whole bag by myself, and you look back at that orange color or some of the different colors they would come up with, some of the cereals, and my Crunch Berry, Captain Crunch, and but when you really look at it, from the Fruit Loops to everything in this candy store, that it was all designed to get me attracted to those chemicals and to those colors, and then now my body beginning to take in toxins that I didn't even know, was there. It's very eye-opening. It really is.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go a little bit deeper. This is another big one, and we can't say enough about this. Is just refined sugar. I mean, when you look at the process of how they actually go through refining sugar and taking, all the things that they go through, you really will understand why this is one of the most deadly things that you can get addicted to, and it truly is an addiction. Let's talk a little bit about refined sugar.
It's proven that sugar is addictive. You can't find that sweet that you taste from artificial sugar anywhere else, and you get addicted to it. One of the things that I did, and I do a lot, and I encourage our community to do, just go on YouTube and research how refined sugar is made, or how anything else is made.
Yeah.
And the things you see there, one video will make you change your life.
Yeah.
You see all the additive ingredients that are being input into the sugar to bleach it and to make it white. Why not going back to the original source and get the pure cane sugar? It's the same sugar without all the process.
Right.
So a little bit of research, a little bit of 5 minutes on YouTube even, that it's a resource that all of us has, can really help us make better decisions.
And I was recently able to see one of those videos, Bar, and I think you even sent me something in. It is eye-opening to know the process they go through to create refined sugar. I mean, you would think it's not that, maybe a little additives and it's ready to go. but it's really serious. I mean, it's some serious chemistry. Like, I mean, it makes you think twice about what you're putting in your body and all the machines and chemicals and tests being done to get it just right, and then to actually get it into the format that is best for addiction, in a sense. And so very, very powerful. And this is something we want you all to make sure you research. Now, this goes right with this, because I know we could talk about this forever, but this goes right because the enemy is not just refined sugar, it's actually sweet itself. Being able to control our sweet intake and where we get that sweet kind of, we all want to have that sense of a sweet. There's a sweet, sour, salty that we all kind of go through. But the artificial sweetener comes in and says, hey, you don't want to do refined sugar and sugar's not good for you? We got an alternative that is better. But we found out that even this is almost could be worse than some of the things that we've seen. Why don't you say a little bit about artificial sugar?
I am very against artificial sugars. I always have been. There were some researches done where you can develop serious diseases from artificial sweeteners. Some organizations that supposed to give advice to people who has diabetes, in the past they actually recommended them to replace it with artificial sugars, but it has been proven that it's directly related to cancer. So it's just something that we should avoid. But the problem is that almost every product on the shelf nowadays either have artificial sweetener in it or sugar in it. But all it takes from us, it's the awareness.
Right.
Just be aware of it, turn it around, read the label that is on the back, and maybe just research a little bit just to make sure that it has all the right things that we need for our body.
Absolutely, and I think, we know what most of these artificial sweeteners are, and so, we don't need to educate everyone on that. It's just the awareness of what it's doing to you and taking a stand for your health. And I know I had to get to a place in my life where I would be able to do that, and I was devastated to find out when I thought I was doing better, I was doing worse. By leveraging some of these artificial sweeteners and aspartame and all these different things. So it's very imperative upon all of us to take a more concerted effort, because now, you would rather just eat some natural cane sugar, find things that have natural cane sugar in it, than the things that's being created that always is going to be a worse impact. So a few things we want to leave you with before we end this segment. So this is a website we want y'all to know about called GoCleanLabel.com. This is a great resource for you to understand some of the things that are going on out there. And this is, again, an example of looking up, if you might see this on the back of something, potassium lactate, and it'll tell you about that ingredient. I know you introduced this to me, Barb. Say a little bit about this, how people can use it.
So I came across this website from just a research I did for the show, actually, because you can always learn more. You can always do more research. I don't know all of it. I will never know all of it, but just keep searching for ways to do things better. And many times we go to the store, we want to know, are we doing the right thing? So this is a website where you can type in the ingredient that you don't know and you can't even pronounce.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And it just tells you, is it clean or is it unclean? This website also has a list for different stores like Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. Those stores actually has a list of unclean ingredients that the store says those ingredients will not be a part of my product. So they keep it away from their shelves, which is good to know.
Absolutely, and I think right now we live in one of the greatest time in the age of Google, where there's nothing you can't say you can't find out about. So now it's about, what do you want to know? And so we're wanting you to increase your awareness and to want to know so that we can all live more healthy lives.